Hi there. Have you ever thought about buying a home, but you're not sure if the time is right for you?
Well, in this video, we're going to go over what's happening with the real estate market right now and how it's rapidly changing.
Yes, we have been in a buyer's market here now for a little bit.
And we're going to go over that. So come along with us. Hello, I'm Donald Nally.
And I'm Katie Nally.
And we are licensed real estate professionals here in the state of Florida. And today we're going to bring you some news about the changing market and what that means for you as a buyer and as a seller. We got information for both sides. But we just say come along with us as we go over what's going on in the market today. Whether you're looking to buy today or sometime in the future, we're here to help you, and we want to bring you some news of what's going on. A buyer's market is emerging in parts of the United States even as we speak, and it has been over the last month or so. But Redfin reports that there's 3.7 months of supply in January, which is the most in 6 years. Excuse me. But Florida ranks high for buyers with 6 of the top 10 metros in inventory.
Yes, the U.S. housing market has tilted in favor of buyers. It means the buyers have the greater advantage, that the home prices are more in favor of the buyer making an offer. This is the first time in the decade with 3.7 months of for sale supply sitting on the market.
Yeah, and historically, it's like should be 4 to 6 months of supply has indicated a buyer's market. That's what's indicated a buyer's market in the past, having 4 to 6 months of supply sitting on the market. But January this year, 2025, was the closest the U.S. housing market has come to 4 months of supply since February 2019. So that's been almost since 6 years ago.
Right. And it's worth noting that the picture looks different across different areas of the country, with buyers favored across the Sun Belt metros, while sellers generally have more power in the Northeast and Midwest.
Yeah, in other words, the Sun Belt states, there's more inventory for buyers to choose from, and therefore more room for negotiation, because when you have more houses on the market,
then the sellers are more anxious to get their property sold.
Yeah, and this is particularly the case in Florida, which has 6 of the top 10 major metros with the most months of supply.
Yes, there's a range of other data points signaling favorability for buyers ahead in the spring home buying season.
Yeah, ahead of the spring buying season, because we're getting ready. We're here at March right now, and we're getting ready to move into this spring home buying season, which is a favorable part of the year for a lot of people. With tax refunds and all that stuff coming back, people that's been saving, wanting to buy a home, but they didn't want to do it through the winter.
Good weather.
Yeah, good weather.
People love to go shopping in spring for new homes. It's just the perfect time.
Yeah, so some of these indicators, these data points, that signaling a buyer's market that we're moving into that, and some of these are
that the sales are slow. Pending sales fell 6.3% in January of this year to the lowest mark since the early days of the pandemic in April 2020.
Yeah, listings are sitting longer. That means listings, homes that's for sale, sitting longer on the market. The typical home sold in January had been on the market for nearly 2 months, 56 days, the longest period since February of 2020. And they're even sitting longer than that, we've noticed down here in our area in Port St. Lucie.
Yes, especially if a home needs some work or perhaps could use a new roof, then the seller is in a more tenuous situation.
Yes, because things with mortgage companies and insurance companies and everything, the big thing is with the roofs and all that. They want to make sure that the home that they're putting money up for on a loan has a good solid roof on it.
Yes, and when a roof is approaching 20 years old, the insurance people don't want to. They don't find that favorable at all.
Yes, but this kind of stuff don't affect you if you're a cash buyer. If you're a cash buyer, you can, you can buy it however you want to buy it and not insure it. That's totally up to you. But big piece of property, you would want to have it insured.
Right. Price growth is slowing. The median U.S. home price was up 4.1% year over year in this January, the slowest growth since September, and more in line with the rate experienced in the late 2010s.
Yeah, and one thing, I seen another article not too long ago. It was saying even though prices were still kind of going up in other parts of the United States, here in Florida, they've been staying pretty steady, especially right here in our area here in Port St. Lucie. This price has been staying steady, but there's been other areas in Florida where prices are dropping, inventory's way up. Inventory's up pretty much here too in this area, but the prices have been staying steady. It's been a steady market here on the Treasure Coast.
Which means that more negotiation is possible. The typical home sold for 1.8% less than its final asking price in January, the biggest discount in nearly 2 years.
Yeah, and that's an indicator of switching over to a buyer's market, because a lot of houses, buyers have more room to negotiate.
Right.
They're looking at more homes, and they can see there's more homes because everywhere you look, there's homes for sale.
When sellers have their home on the market and it's lingering for 30 days, 60 days, 70, 80 days.
Almost a year.
They're anxious to get that home sold. Many of them have to do it for some reason, so that is what is giving the buyers the edge here. And so, the other things to consider, of course, are insurance and taxes, those things. And our governor, Ron DeSantis, is busy right now trying to remove property taxes for us. What a great thing.
Yes, and because that would make it easier for people who currently own their homes to be able to stay in them.
Possibly.
Possibly, get one of those big bills out of the way at the end of the year. And
yes.
And another indicator is deals are falling through. Home purchases were canceled at the highest January rate since at least 2017. Home purchases were canceled, and we know for ourselves we seen a lot of things fall through for some of the negotiations we were handling last year. Things fall through. You get almost to the end of something, or you get to working on something comes up, causes the whole deal to fall through.
Yes, and that can be difficult on buyer and seller.
Yes, disheartening on everyone involved. Yes, discouraging. According to Redfin economics research lead Chen Zhao, I hope I pronounced that properly. It says historically a buyer's market has been defined as when months of supply reaches 4 to 6 months. But old definitions don't fit the reality of today's market. Many buyers don't feel like they are in a buyer's market with home prices at near record highs and mortgage rates elevated. But we are more than halfway through the decade, and this is the first time we can say that buyers have as much, if not more, power than sellers.
Yes, and Zhao cautioned that even though the pendulum may have swung in favor of buyers, these conditions may not last long. More buyers may start to move off the sidelines when they realize that there's more inventory available.
Yeah, and that's our purpose of bringing this news to you today, to let you know there's a lot of inventory out there. And if you're looking to purchase a home right now, now could be a good time to do it.
It could be a very good time to do it. Ron DeSantis, our governor, has been working hard on bringing insurance companies back into Florida.
Yeah.
11 companies have come back into Florida in the last 2 years following hurricanes that have occurred here. And many of them are offering discounts. So there's good news on the horizon here.
Yes.
And a Redfin Premier agent in Jacksonville, Florida, Brian Carnaggio, says it's 100% of a buyer's market right now.
This is in Jacksonville where he's at.
Which was about 5 hours north of us. There's
Yes.
a ton of inventory. Everywhere you go, there's a house for sale. Most sellers here know the market is bad and it's not advantageous to sell right now, but either they're tired of waiting for things to improve or they really have to sell because they are moving out of state. For buyers, this means there are more opportunities to negotiate on price and terms.
See, this is what real estate agents are noticing and saying. Everywhere in these metros, there's houses everywhere for sale, and that can be advantageous for buyers right now, because more inventory, more room to negotiate, different homes to look at. Sellers will be looking at, across the board, because you can go on all these different sites and look at what homes are selling for. If you got your house listed way up here and the house right down the street from you is almost similar to yours, but it's like selling down here, it just causes like a price war, basically.
Yes, and we personally know, that there are communities here where builders have been building quickly and rapidly, and that's great for the builder, but for a person in the park there that might want to sell their home, they're now competing with the builder to get their home sold.
Yes. So, and Florida tops the list of buyers markets because the pandemic-driven construction boom, just like what my wife was saying about the builders, building so much inventory. Florida tops the list of buyers markets because the pandemic-driven construction boom has increased housing supply as buyer demand dries up due to the relative lack of affordability. So there you have it again.
Yes. The demand has dropped because of the increased risk of natural disasters and subsequently higher insurance costs.
Yeah, subsequent higher insurance costs. As we said, Florida is notorious for the very high insurance rates. We've talked to people, some of our friends, over the last couple of weeks, how they've known someone or themselves have been affected where their insurance was this much, and then with no warning it just doubled and went to this much, and people have to sell because of high taxes, high insurance rates. But the legislatures down here, the governor is really working hard to get this stuff under control and to get this economy under control here in the state of Florida, to lower the insurance rates, to do away with the property taxes, to make it more attractive for people to want to not just buy here, but stay here and actually live in Florida.
One of the most exciting things that I've heard, is that Governor Ron DeSantis wants to start a Doge system here in Florida to look into wasteful spending, things that can be reduced to adjust the budget here in Florida. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that could be a good thing, so it would help lower taxes all the way around. But anyway, we kept saying throughout this video, the article that we've been going over, because the source came from Redfin, and about the top 6 metros, they had a list of 10, but we're only hitting the ones in Florida because we're here in Florida. Right. So the top 6 metros in Florida with the most inventory are, you ready for it? Here comes the drum roll.
Number 1 is Cape Coral. Number 2 is Miami.
But Cape Coral has an 11.6 months supply of inventory on the market. That's like a whole year of inventory sitting on the market.
Yes.
And Miami's 11.4.
And then number 3 would be Fort Lauderdale with 10.3 months supply.
Yeah.
And West Palm Beach would come in 4th at 9.6 months of supply.
And number 5 is Northport, Florida, with 7.3 months supply.
And number 6 is Jacksonville with 6.3 months supply.
Now take note of this. According to Redfin, you know, the number 6 metro in Florida is Jacksonville with 6.3 months supply. And we want to go back to what this Redfin premier agent said, that everywhere you look, he's saying it's 100% buyer's market. And everywhere you go, there's houses for sale. So he's saying that in Jacksonville, and that's the lowest on our list. So think about those metros like Cape Coral, Miami, those that's at the top of this list. There must be empty housing everywhere.
Well, sure, yes. The pricing of homes in Miami is high. Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach are generally high too, but you probably can find some great deals there.
Yeah, and even here in Port St. Lucie, I notice when, you know, we're out driving around, we're doing whatever, I notice houses for sale everywhere. I'm always pointing out to my wife, there's a house there for sale, there's a house there for sale, there's one here for sale. You know, a couple years ago, you'd be lucky, you go down the street or in a neighborhood, you might see 1 or 2 houses. Now you're like seeing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses in one stretch of a little community or something, you know.
Right. You know, going back about, 5 or 6, 7 years, there was a great demand here, and really there still is here in Port St. Lucie. But it caused builders to come into this area and start building until many of the lots have been sold and built upon, and different communities have been built, condos have been built to the point where that's kind of been oversaturated. So now there's more than enough.
Yes, and if you're looking to buy, if you're in a good position to buy right now, now would be the time to move forward for you. But we want to thank you for watching today, and we hope some of this information helped you. If you need any help going through this process from beginning to end, whether you're buying or looking to sell, we're here to help you. We're here to serve you. Our information is in the comments below.
We'd love to help you if you allow us to hear from you.
Yes, and do us a favor, if anything in this video helped you, or if you know someone who needs to hear it, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. It helps us with YouTube algorithm and everything to get the word out of what's going on down here in Florida with the inventory and everything. And but we're here for you.
We're looking forward to serving you.
Yes, and until next time, this is Living on Florida's Treasure Coast.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.